Oh, it's good to see you again. It's been a while. Ah, have I got a story for you today? This is a story of a friend of mine, a brilliant guy whom I met while he was in high school. He was doing tech support for me on my website, and we became interested in each other and read my book, Living in Truth, Beauty, and Goodness. But he never identified with the concept of God. That was always strange for him. Though he liked the idea of the wonderfulness within, which I described in ways that are the characteristics that I attribute to God's spirit within us. As long as they didn't talk about God, Sean was right there, and things changed 2 weeks ago when we had our last conversation. Um, we were talking about consciousness, and I thought that I might serve him in his desire to get back to this extraordinary level of consciousness of being in the zone or flow experience that he'd had while working on computer problems and just zooming through very complex and difficult things, as easy as going down a water slide into a swimming pool. So I thought this might help. And I introduced him to the phenomenology of religious experience along the lines of the phenomenologist. Phenomenology means experienceology. It's a philosophical, rigorous description of the structures of experience. And the line of this tradition in which I have specialized is that of Edmund Husserl, Husserl. All right, so I'm going to just crudely summarize this, but as we started our conversation, I reminded Sean of what we had spoken of. I had spoken of much more than he, and I had referred to much more than he, but the qualities in himself that are most important to him are kindness and trustworthiness. And when I suggested to him at the beginning of our meeting 2 weeks ago that the wonderfulness within was a source of kindness and trustworthiness, he was with me. What a great way to begin. So first I talked about God as a person to whom we might turn. I'm trying to be Husserl phenomenology with this in a very popular way here. God is the person to whom we can turn, among other persons that we can turn to also. When we pray or sing hymns to or listen for an answer from, we're turning to God in the ways that we are able. All right. The second is the idea again of God within. I use the term the wonderfulness within because a lot of people identify with that who can't get immediately with the idea of God's spirit within. But Husserl talks about this in ways that very few people who know about him are aware of. But he recognizes that the source of love comes into us not from somewhere outside, but from within. And that's where the truth and the beauty and the divine goodness and the love is found. And the values that we recognize from within, the divine values, are so important that there's kind of a authentic requirement of a kind of absolute ought that if you give up, if you become untrue to, if you let go of these values, you've just lost your true self. Your life is becoming meaningless. That's how important are the values and the love that we experience as coming from within. Now, at the beginning, I had asked Sean, do you have an idea of God? I believe that everybody has an idea of God. So Sean said, yes. Could you say something? No, he couldn't say anything at all. This brilliant genius of a guy could say nothing to give voice to his idea of God. So we were starting to unfold these places within our conscious life to look for God. And the third is in our active experiencing that can be transformed. For example, you're singing a religious song or looking at a religious text, and all of a sudden, the line of the song strikes you in a way that it never has. Or it's like you've never seen this verse before. The meaning that it has for you, it glows, it lights up your experience of reading or singing or what have you. It's the transformed experiencing. And last, there's the God in whom we live and have our being. We have the sense, religious consciousness, let's say, has the sense of God as one to whom we can turn, God within us, but also we're in God. There's a supportive, upholding presence, and the objective space around us is surrounded by divine presence in those moments when we feel quite surrounded. We are in God. So after maybe an hour of this unfolding of these places to look for God, I asked, has this gotten you over the hurdle? Yes. Can you imagine phenomenological philosophy being the agent of helping a beloved brother find God? Stranger things have happened. So I leave you with this thought, familiar to those of you who've been here before. Whatever is going on in your life or in our world, always know that you are a divinely created, infinitely loved, spiritually indwelt, evolutionary, free will, son or daughter of the living God. Good day.